It's the Morning Brew with friends on a Tuesday morning. We got Greg Frost with us. You have a good Thanksgiving?
I had a great Thanksgiving.
You had like the whole family over, didn't you?
I had both families, yes.
It's got to be a blast.
It was good for my son because he didn't have to travel back and forth between two families, and we got to enjoy everybody's company. It was truly a big Thanksgiving celebration. It was fun.
It's perfect.
I like Thanksgiving. I like Thanksgiving better than Christmas.
Me too.
Great meal, great family thing. No presents expected or
you go for the conversation, you go to see
family.
people, and you go just to have a good time. You don't go to give anybody anything.
It's my favorite holiday.
Right. It is, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I know that there's kind of a big holiday coming up, I think, if you're a stockbroker, probably next week, right?
Yes, yes.
What did we decide? It was the 15th? We had to look this up. We were Googling it all morning here, trying to figure out when the next Fed meeting officially was. But it's the 15th.
It's the 15th.
And that's when they will probably... You were saying no, I'm going that the Federal Reserve Board will raise interest rates. I'm thinking about 1%.
Well, it's interesting because the economists that I read actually switched gears last week.
Oh, really?
They went from no to yes. And, you know, they typically know more than I do. However, I still think we have a very fragile economy.
Right.
So I'm going to say, no, they're not going to go up a point. If they go up at all, the maximum they'll go up is 1/4%.
Okay.
Okay.
The guys I've been reading were saying a little more than that, but I don't know yet. It should be interesting. But what will that do to people in your line of work? I mean, at the mortgage world, money gets more expensive, and that means it's harder to buy a house, right?
Correct. Fewer people can afford to buy, and just it doesn't take much. 1/4% will knock 250,000, 300,000 families out of the game.
Overnight.
They just don't qualify with that that little extra payment.
Right.
But in this instance, it's already been factored in. If you look at the rate sheet that I brought today to show everybody, the rates have already gone up a couple of ticks. I think they've already factored in the Fed increase, and that's why I'm changing my mind and saying there's probably going to be a Fed increase because we've seen the bond market raise rates
already.
A little bit. Yeah. They factored it in, and I think. But I don't think we're going to get anywhere near a point. I'm going to say 1/4% maximum.
Let's see, we do have that rate sheet. Let's pull that up. See what the rates are looking like right now. Because they're in the 4% range
now.
Well,
one is, but that's the APR. But you notice the mortgage interest rate on FHA loans is still below 4%, comfortably below, right where it's been for months. Conventional is a little higher, but VA's back down at the 3 3/4 rank.
I think
so. You've got the APR on the right counts closing costs and stuff. That's not the note rate. So there's no discount points. So you're looking at still 2 of the 3 major programs are below 4%.
When do you think rates will go back down?
I don't see them going back down. I think they're going to trend up when they're going to tick, tick, tick. You got to remember something. We've been at historically low interest rates. And to be able to give you a definition that says historically low, they're historically low. That means there's probably a base point of historically low rates, and then it's up from there.
Right? Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, not too long ago, it seemed like 8-9% was regular.
Oh yeah, we've had 7 3/4, 7. I always comment when I first entered the mortgage industry in 1972.
Oh, in 72, they probably 14% back then?
Actually, in 72, no, they were 7 3/4%.
Were they 7? It was in the 80s that they were.
It was in the late 70s, early 80s. Yeah. But the normal interest rate was 7 3/4%, and the New Mexico Mortgage Finance Authority came out with their new program. Everybody was all excited at 7.5%.
Wow.
You know, and that was the norm back then. So these have been for several years historically low interest rates.
I feel bad that I didn't take advantage of a lot of it myself. You know, I did refinance my place a while back. I think a lot of people did.
Sure.
It's not too late to do that if you still have a.
It's not too late at all. But I've had people come to me here lately with 4% interest rates, 4 1/4% interest rates, asking, should I refinance? And my answer is no.
Right. But what do you refinance at? For
3 3/4, but it's not viable. It's not a good financial move for them.
Right, absolutely. Well, one of the things that is a good financial move is veterans can really buy a home with $100 total cash.
Yeah, let me tell you how it
That's
works.
unbelievable.
Now, let me tell you how it works. Okay, first of all, the veterans program is zero down. So they require no down payment from the veteran. And if the veteran, through their realtor, negotiates with the seller, through the seller's realtor, for the seller to pick up the buyer's closing costs, which in many cases that can be negotiated.
Oh yeah,
Everything's
everything is negotiable when you're buying a house.
and especially if you find a house and you feel that the house is priced right, and you say, okay, I'll pay your price.
Right.
I'm not going to try to niggle you down on the price, but
Right.
I'm going to ask you to pay my closing costs. In that scenario, a veteran can actually move in for $100,
That's huge.
total cost out of pocket. You need the $100 because to have a contract, you have to have offer acceptance and consideration.
There's got to be people in your office that got to do the work.
Well,
right?
there's $100 for consideration. It has to do with contract law. So we don't have a contract if I don't give you some consideration. So the consideration is set at $100. So the Veterans Administration provides 100% of the financing. The seller provides 100% of the veteran's closing costs, and the veteran can move in for just $100. And we do them every month. It's not like some exotic transaction. You say, well, that's just unattainable. That's just hyperbole. It's not. We do them every single month, and we guide you. And when you come in, we say, listen, here's what you want to do. Because when we meet with people, we find out how much cash they have and how much cash they don't have.
Right.
And so we can guide them then and say, all right, here's how much cash you have to spend on the new home.
And you
here's
can help
how you
them
should
negotiate.
structure. We don't help in the negotiation. We help in structuring their offer. And we advise them on why your offer should be structured this way, and stick to your guns, okay? Because you need that in order to consummate the transaction. And it works very well.
That's
and
very cool.
veterans have a wonderful opportunity
Right.
in buying houses through the Veterans Administration.
Right. Well, I know you've talked before on the show about the not just the easy closing costs part of it, but there's kind of a bank the veterans have, right? A bank of money that is available for mortgages through the VA.
Oh, absolutely. The Veterans Administration has been around since the 40s. It was enacted in the 40s to help the servicemen coming back from World War II. And there's plenty of money.
Yeah.
They never run out of money.
Right.
And it's there for the veterans. And it's absolutely the best loan program available today.
That's very cool. Well, we'll see you next week. And I'm going to read up, what's the best spot you think to read up on whether or not there will be increasing the rates next week?
Well, I go to the Fed website and see what
Take
they're
a look,
saying.
see what they're...
Don't forget about our Lobos. We've got to say
That's
about
right.
our
These
Lobos.
guys, they crushed it. They crushed Air Force.
7-5.
Crushed Air Force,
Beat
the
my
best
predictions.
team. That's
Definitely
amazing.
going to a bowl game.
I love this.
I do too.
Who do they play next week?
That's the last game.
That's
They're
it.
7-5. They're waiting for a bowl offer.
That is all 12 games.
Yeah, it's all 12 games.
Crazy.
Yeah, fantastic.
I love it.
Great job, Bob Davey and his coaching staff. And the kids did a wonderful job.
Well, we're going to be back in a couple of seconds with folks from Carrington College. They're going to be talking about their new winter coat drive on the Morning Brew with Friends.